Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Monday, November 8th. We have all you need to know about the closing of a beloved local restaurant, as well as details on an extended break for Penn State employees.
We also have more on the tragic events that occurred at Travis Scott's AstroWorld Festival, along with entertainment, sports, and weather.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Hannah Markovich.
And I'm Marie Hilbert.
Charles Millard, the co-founder of the pediatric cancer charity 4 Diamonds, supported by Penn State's Thon, died on Thursday morning. Millard was 93 and died from a brain injury sustained after falling just hours earlier. Millard and his wife Irma co-founded 4 Diamonds in 1972 following their son's nearly 3-year battle with cancer. A memorial service for Millard will be announced at a later date. Thon 2022 will kick off on Friday, February 18th. For the first time in 2 years, the event will welcome dancers, families, volunteers, and fans to the Bryce Jordan Center to celebrate in person.
In appreciation for Penn State staff, university leaders have approved an extended December break for 2021. Full-time staff employees will receive 2 full paid weeks off of time beginning on December 20th and continuing through December 31st. To accommodate this change, university offices and operations will close for the winter break from Friday, December 17th until Monday, January 3rd. This decision comes in response to the impacts caused by COVID-19 and the necessary changes enacted to maintain all university operations. President Eric Barron stated, quote, "The university leaders recognize the immense contributions of all employees during the past 2 years in working to safeguard the health of the university community, serve customers with excellence, and advance the university's strategic goals. We thank you all," end quote.
After 20 years in State College, Mad Mex will close its 240 South Pew Street location on November 28th. Bill Fuller, president of the Big Burrito Group, said the bar and restaurant's lease has been suspended pending sale of its home in the Days Inn Penn State property. Chicago-based developer Core Spaces is working to purchase the Days Inn property and submitted a development plan to the State College Borough to raise the existing building and construct a new 6-story student apartment complex. The 6th-floor plan includes a pool, hot tub, and terrace. Big Burrito Group will retain Mad Mex Happy Valley's management team and will offer other employee jobs and other restaurant locations.
Penn State has begun studying options for the future of its 2 university-owned hotels. One group is currently studying the benefits that would come from invigorating the hotel operations. The study of the 90-year-old Nittany Lion Inn and 27-year-old Penn Stater Hotel and Conference Center is part of a larger multi-year initiative studying ways to control costs, grow revenue, and support strategic initiatives across numerous aspects of the university. Sarah Thorndike, the Senior Vice President for Finance and Business, told the Penn State Board of Trustees that, quote, "The goal of this effort is to look at how continued investments into the operations of hotels may or may not align with the university's core teachings, research, and service mission," end quote. Penn State has hired a consultant to evaluate the options, including renovating the hotels, divesting, and ground leasing them. While no decisions have been made, the university maintains that this evaluation will be insightful and notes that they are analyzing all aspects as well as the potential impact these decisions may have on our community.
This season's temperatures have been quite varied compared to previous falls in State College. Chris Lemo tells us what's going on this week with our weekly weather report.
Thanks, Hannah. Well, it was a beautiful day today as we had temperatures up into the mid-60s, very warm for this time of year in the Happy Valley. Now, as we look at tonight, temperature around 44 degrees. We keep that clear sky, though. Slight breeze out of the west-southwest, but nothing too terrible. Again, we've had a lot cooler nights the last couple nights, so 44 actually pretty warm relative to average. Now, as we look at tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures remaining chilly, around 50 degrees when you're walking to your first class around 9 a.m., but we keep the sunshine tomorrow. And then noon, again, gorgeous, around 59 degrees, well above average. This time of year, we should be in the upper 40s like we were back on Saturday. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow night, 57 degrees again in the evening, coming home for your evening commute around 57, and we keep that sunshine really all day. Now, I know I'm looking ahead to the weekend, looking forward to the weekend here. We do have the main weather maker is going to be our cold front. Now that's going to come through early Friday, so we'll see the clouds start to move in on Thursday. But the cold front Friday will get the rain early, and then maybe we'll get some sunshine back as we get through the day. The big story will be it'll be a lot colder Saturday and Sunday. Possible flurries for the game on Saturday. I would definitely suggest layering up. Now, as we look at the 7-day outlook here, it should remain pretty warm in the early part of the week. 63 on Tuesday, 56 on Wednesday. Again, warm relatively speaking compared to where we should be this time of the year. Now, Thursday we'll get back into the familiar pattern with the clouds. Should be pretty short-lived though, only Thursday on into Friday morning. And then we get that rain Friday morning, and then much colder temperatures as we get to the weekend. Overall, not too terrible. The game will be cold, but it should still be drier than the Illinois game a couple weeks ago, so not bad for Michigan. Now back to you at the anchor desk, Marie.
Coming up next, Brooke Stake has the latest stories on Penn State sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Brooke Stake with your sports update. Jahan Dotson set a program record for Penn State football on Saturday during the Nittany Lions' 31-14 win over Maryland. Dotson had a record-breaking 242 receiving yards, which broke the record for the most receiving yards in a single game for Penn State. Dotson nearly won the game single-handedly as he also scored 3 touchdowns for the blue and white. Penn State is now 6-3 on the season and will face Michigan this Saturday at Beaver Stadium, with kickoff beginning at noon on ABC Network. Penn State men's soccer defeated Michigan State on Sunday 2-0 to advance to the Big Ten tournament semifinals. This win came after Big Ten Player of the Year Peter Mangione scored a goal for the Nittany Lions within the first 30 seconds of the match. Penn State found another goal later in the first half from Andrew Privet to shut out Michigan State. Following this home matchup, Penn State will return back at Jeffrey Field to host the semifinals against Michigan this Wednesday with kickoff at noon. Pro Football Hall of Famer Terry Bradshaw took a strong stance against Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers revealed he was not vaccinated against COVID-19, despite the belief he had gotten a vaccine. Bradshaw addressed Rodgers' situation during Fox NFL Sunday, saying Rodgers, quote, lied about being vaccinated after telling reporters back in August he had been, quote, immunized. Rodgers missed the game against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night, which was the NFL's game of the week. The Packers fell to the Chiefs 13-7 without Rodgers, and he will not be able to return from the COVID-19 list until this upcoming Saturday, making his return questionable for Week 10. That's all for sports. After the break, Jimmy Atkinson will bring you the latest in the world of entertainment.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Jimmy Atkinson with your entertainment update. The 3rd annual Center Film Festival concluded Sunday, closing out a packed week of 80 film screenings, various Q&As, and workshop sessions. Notable Happy Valley residents returning for the festival included Josh Leonard, best known for acting in and co-directing 1999's The Blair Witch Project, as well as Better Call Saul star and PSU alum Patrick Fabian, who featured in a festival film and held an acting workshop at the event. The fest concluded with the Chandler Living Legacy Award, given to comedian, actor, and writer Keegan-Michael Key, as well as a Lifetime Achievement Award for legendary filmmaker Madeline Anderson, who is recognized as the first black woman to direct a documentary film in the United States. Field reporter Courtney McGinley stopped by the festival to get an inside look.
The Center Film Festival kicked off last week with more than 80 different films, Q&A sessions, and wrapping up with an award ceremony on the last day. Co-founder and associate professor of film at Penn State, Pearl Gluck, states that in order for production to take place, they had to change the playbook of how they present films. While the vision has stayed the same, this year's festival had both in-person, virtual, and hybrid events.
We're committed to highlighting Pennsylvania artists, Pennsylvania films, making sure that every piece of this film festival is intergenerational, and you're seeing this now. We're going to make sure coming into the next year that we continue to celebrate neutral spaces like historic theaters where real conversations can be had about anything, where entertainment can take place, and making sure that there's an intergenerationality, a multi-generational conversation, so that students can continue to engage in the film festival at every level.
Additionally, in honor of Indigenous Peoples Heritage Month, Home from School is among the films viewers could engage in. The film follows the controversial history of Indian boarding schools in Carlisle. Film director Jeffrey O'Gara states that he always looks forward to the conversations that precede his viewings.
I'm excited to hear people's reactions. I always pace the back of the auditorium in terror when anything's being shown, but I really enjoy the interaction, which I hope we'll have with people who've seen it and have their own thoughts.
The Center County Film Festival concluded on Sunday, November 7th, with a red carpet and numerous films shown throughout the week, some even shining light on the Indigenous Peoples Heritage Month. Many filmmakers were even honored, including Madeline Anderson and former Penn Stater Keegan-Michael Kelly. This is the film festival's third year, and co-founder Pearl Gluck says she is excited to see how it can grow in the future. For Penn State Network News, I'm Courtney McGinley.
Penn State Center Stage is presenting Andrew Lippa's adaptation of The Wild Party at the Playhouse Theater on campus, performing the musical nightly at 7:30 p.m. until November 14th. The early 2000s off-Broadway hit explores the rampant underground party scene of Prohibition America, telling a story of partner violence and the emotional toll it takes on the women who experience it. Master of Fine Arts Directing for musical theater candidate Allison Maroney is directing the jazz-flavored musical, and tickets can be bought on the Penn State Center Stage website for $25 or $12.50 for students. In other on-campus events, last week, student organization Uncensored America brought in Milo Yiannopoulos, a controversial political commentator, to speak on Penn State's campus. The Gender and Equity Center at Penn State held a counter-event titled Love is Louder, protesting Milo's attendance. PSN News field reporter Megan Swift has the story.
On Wednesday, Penn State's Jeffrey A. Conrad Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity hosted Love is Louder in the Hub Robeson Center's Heritage Hall in response to British alt-right political commentator Milo Yiannopoulos' event titled Pray the Gay Away. Dylan Miller, a graduate student and staff member at the center, helped run the event, hand out tickets, and make sure everyone was safe and happy.
It was pretty much just an event to kind of show not only Penn State, but the center's support for LGBTQI individuals, and anyone pretty much that is denouncing the speaker that came and did not side with anything that they stand for, and just kind of showing their support for the community and other marginalized communities along with them.
In order to enter the event, students had to wait in a line that wrapped around the second floor of the hub twice. Miller said this turnout was unexpected, but very exciting.
For me, it means that there's people out there that care, and that they're not going to just stand by and let anything happen. They're going to do something and say something, and there's a lot of allies, whether we see them or not on campus and at Penn State.
I wish I was special, but
I'm really, really happy. I think it was better than I could have imagined.
I'm Megan Swift reporting at the Hub's Heritage Hall for PSN News.
Legendary Swedish pop band ABBA returned this week, reuniting to release their first new album since their split almost 40 years ago. The 1970s superstars dropped Voyage on Friday as they seek to pick up right where they left off from their 1981 release, The Visitors. Longtime fans can expect the sounds of vintage ABBA, so dust off your pantsuits and your platform shoes. Even though it's 2021, you can once again dance, jive, and have the time of your life. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, interview anchor JC Colavita will be speaking to the president of Nittanyville. Stay tuned.
Penn State's football season is coming to a close. There's only 2 home games left. This Saturday versus Michigan and next Saturday versus Rutgers. For both these games, you'll see students camping out days in advance to get the best seats in the student section. These campers are members of Nittanyville. Hello, everyone. I'm JC Colavita, and today I have Nittanyville's current president, Matthew Solomon, joining me via Zoom today. How are you, Matthew?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Thanks for being here. Can you give our viewers a little bit of a basic rundown of what Nittanyville is?
Yeah, so Nittanyville is a group of students who camps outside at Gate A at Beaver Stadium before every Penn State football home game from Wednesday night to Saturday morning. And then for the whiteout and for Auburn this year, we did from Monday night to Saturday morning. Basically, what it is we just camp out for all the football games, get front row tickets. We have a ton of events going on, get free food, free gear. Team comes around, a lot of different organizations and clubs at Penn State come camp out, get involved. So it's a good time, great way to kind of meal off friends out here and have the best Penn State football experience possible.
So how did you get involved in Nittanyville?
Yeah, so my senior year of high school, I was watching ESPN and I saw Sports Center there, and I saw like Saquon was there, Trace, James Franklin, and I was like, all right, if I get into Penn State, it's definitely something I wanted to do. Then when I got up here freshman year, I became close with a bunch of guys who were planning on doing it, and we went to the meeting, decided to camp out together, and then from the first week, it was an App State game in 2018 was my freshman year. Just fell in love with it, made a bunch of real close friends, got real close with the older kids and kids my age, and then I've done every game since throughout college.
What would you say your favorite thing about this whole Nittanyville experience has been?
Definitely just a community. I've gotten to meet so many people, both older, my age, and younger, who have become some of my closest friends in the world. We get to travel to all the away games, bowl games, camp out, and live in tents outside the stadium is like something that's a really unique experience that nowhere else in the country has, and something I'll never do again in my life. So just overall, just all the people and like the family that we make there it's a great time.
Why do you think that Penn State football, like that whole experience, is so much different than anywhere else in the country on college football game day?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously Beaver Stadium is just unbelievable, and we have the best student section in the country. There's nowhere that compares to our environment and the way that our crowd and student section in particular is able to impact games. There's just nowhere that even comes close. Year after year, we win best student section college football. We won student section with a week this year for Auburn, and I'm sure I'm planning on winning the award again this year at the award show in December. But I just think it's because of how involved both the students and the alumni are. People go to games ready to stand up the entire time, make noise, really make an impact. And then also coach and the team, they buy into the fan base a lot, really encourage them, push them. Coach puts out weekly tweets. They always push out hype videos. The athletic and marketing department is just phenomenal at coming up with creative ideas, just like the helmet out, to get people in kind of that cult mentality where everybody's dressed as one and ready to just go and give whoever we're playing a real tough time.
That's awesome, man. So my favorite part of Nittanyville, obviously I'm not a member, but what I've seen is the signs. The signs are some of my favorite things. Like Jahan's is one of my favorite. Which ones have you been a part of, and like what would you say is your favorite?
Yeah, so Jahan's is actually my banner this year, so I love it. We came up with that idea over the summer. Actually, a bunch of the guys in my group were out at my house on Long Island over the summer going to a Yankees-Phillies game, and we were kind of thinking of ideas, so we came up with that one. And obviously, Jahan's living up to the name this year, so that's been fun. In the past, my groups also had we had King James Court for James Franklin last year, and then we've had a bunch that have been passed down. Obviously, the traditional ones like the Nittanyville one, the LBU one is a classic, and it has a bunch of autographs from all of our greatest linebackers, like LeVar Arrington, Micah, just all the way down the line. So that's like the signature Penn State one is the LBU one, but we have a ton this year that's been great. This year's there's a fourth quarter Porter one that's awesome. There's been Long Boys ones in the past. We have an Aces one right now. I'm trying to think what else. There's a bunch of them. We've had Wild Dogs, stuff for there's a Cane Train, the Brandon Smith hit stick. I think there's just a bunch of them. Like people are really creative at coming up with these nicknames, and it's awesome. It's a real way to honor like all the players who have been playing great, players who come in the past, and kind of just all the different position groups and units on the team.
Are there any tips or tricks that someone who's doing Nittanyville for the first time should know?
Yes. So when you're camping out, definitely have a tarp for underneath your tent and above in case the weather gets kind of bad or it starts raining. If you don't have that, you could be sleeping in like puddles. But if you have something underneath there or right on top, it's never an issue. Also, you always want to have like cases of water, sandbags, bricks, something like that to keep in the corners of your tent. So that way, when it gets windy, it doesn't blow away. Because sometimes, especially early in the year, tents will kind of be blowing all over like during the day when students aren't there. And I'll get a text or call from athletics saying that we got to go there, reset it up. So if you put like a case of water or brick or something in it, then it holds it down. So those are two good pieces of advice for anybody camping out.
What would you say has been the biggest highlight of Nittanyville so far this season?
I think it's definitely the Auburn game. We did our week-long camp out, and it was phenomenal. We had our trash can football tournament, our talent show. I had a bunch of other organizations and clubs come by. I had different teams, coaches bring by. They brought pizza. And it was just a great time. We had a really good turnout. The pregame drum line was awesome. Everybody ran through the gates, and then the team went out there and took care of business. So got a win, and that was all that mattered. And then obviously won Student Section of the Week that week. And just the stadium environment, it's unrivaled. It's the best atmosphere in all sports. A regular Penn State home game is different in itself, and then you add a whiteout into that, and it's just uncomparable to anywhere else in the country or the world.
I mean, that's so true. I mean, I was on the field for that game. I literally could feel the stadium shaking. So, and that was my first Penn State night game, so that was a really cool experience for me. But you're a senior now. How are you going to look back on your time in Nittanyville?
Oh, I've loved it. Like I said earlier, I made some of my closest friends in the world, and still guys who have graduated in the past. I'll still hang out with them all the time. We'll go on vacations together, away games together, bowl trips. It's been such a big part of my college experience, and I've made so many of my closest friends doing it. And also to experience that I'll never have again in my life and wouldn't have been able to replicate if I went to any other school in the country. So I'm just so grateful I got to do it all. And looking forward to the last 2 games. Don't want to graduate, though. That sucks. Wish I was coming back next year. But just overall, it's been such a big part of my college experience, and I've loved it.
All right, I got one last question for you. Do you think the Nittany Lions are going to win on Saturday?
Absolutely. I think Michigan has no idea what they're walking into. The stadium will be electric. I don't care if it's a noon game, 3:30 game, 7:30 game, noon kick, that stadium will be full. People will be going off their rockers. The team's getting hot again, coming off of a big win in Maryland. Obviously, a couple things have happened this year that's been out of control, like the PJ injury, the Sean injury. But now, we're back at 100% of the guys that are playing and aren't done for the year, and they're going to come out there. And, I mean, we have the best defense in the country. Michigan won't be able to move the ball on us. And Clifford's healthy again. He's hot. Hopefully we'll continue to keep getting the run game going. It looked pretty good Saturday, so hopefully that'll keep staying on track. And then I think we'll have a big win for the Lions. So we'll see what happens.
Once again, Matthew, thank you for joining me. And for Penn State News, I'm JC Calavita.
At least 8 have been reported dead and many more injured after a crowd surge at Travis Scott's AstroWorld Festival in Houston, Texas. Crowds rushed the stage before the performance, creating mosh pits. The situation got progressively worse as time went on and came to a head as the concert began. And concertgoers stated they found themselves compressed and unable to breathe. More than 300 people were treated at a field hospital set up near the festival on Friday. Some patients were found to be in cardiac arrest while others had to be administered Narcan, a drug used to treat narcotic overdoses. Scott took to Twitter after the tragedy, stating that he is, quote, absolutely devastated by what took place last night and is, quote, committed to working together with the Houston community to support and heal the families in need, end quote. The cause of the surge was not immediately clear, but will be part of the Houston Police Department's ongoing investigation.
On Friday, Pfizer Incorporation announced that its experimental antiviral pill for COVID-19 cut rates of hospitalization and death by nearly 90%. The drug company is trying to be the first easy-to-use medication against coronavirus to the U.S. market. Currently, all COVID-19 treatments used in the U.S. require an IV or injection. Competitor Merck's COVID-19 pill is already under review at the Food and Drug Administration after showing strong initial results. On Thursday, the United Kingdom became the first country to approve it. Researchers worldwide have been racing to find a pill against coronavirus that can be taken at home to ease symptoms, speed recovery, and reduce the burden on hospitals and doctors.
Biden doubled down on a costly agenda despite GOP victory in Virginia. On Friday, Democrats passed their $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, ending the weeks of deadlock between the party's moderates and progressives. The House vote was 228 to 206. 13 GOP lawmakers crossed party lines to join Democrats voting in favor of the legislation. 6 progressive Democrats voted against the massive spending package. House lawmakers also voted 221 to 213 along party lines to pass the procedural rule for President Biden's expansive social spending bill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi issued a statement on Saturday applauding House Democrats' success. She stated, quote, "The American people sent President Biden to the White House and Democratic majorities to Congress to deliver deliver results that make their lives better, end quote. She continued that, quote, last night by sending a historic bipartisan infrastructure package to the president's desk, that is exactly what we have done, end quote.
Jobs have rebounded in October after 2 months of lackluster growth caused by the spread of the Delta variant. With COVID-19 cases slowing in many regions, hiring increased last month as more people returned to the job market. Employers added 531,000 jobs last month, according to the U.S. Labor Department. The rebound in hiring may also reflect the September expiration of the enhanced pandemic and unemployment benefits. With COVID cases easing, more employers and workers are feeling confident about hiring and returning to work. And that's all for PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.